Hello, my name is Vander Von Eye, and this is my NHD Project of 2023. It is about the moon landing of 1969, also known as the Apollo 11.
Apollo 11, was it really that important? Is probably what you're thinking right now. But Apollo 11 was more important than any regular moon landing. It showed the USSR that we had more technologically advanced machines by beating them in the space race to the moon.
But the moon landing wasn't just to show that we had better machines, it also allowed us to grow a bigger understanding of the moon and its contents. We would have never known about the composition of the moon without these three men: Edwin Eugene Aldrin Jr., Neil Armstrong, and Michael Collins. The first person I'm going to talk about is Edwin Eugene Aldrin Jr. He was born January 20th, 1930 in Glen Ridge, New Jersey. He graduated third in his class of 1951 at Military Academy at West Point with a degree in mechanical engineering. He was commissioned into the United States Air Force and served as a fighter jet pilot in the Korean War. After he earned an astronautics degree from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, he was selected as a part of NASA Astronaut Group 3. His first spaceflight was in 1966 on the Gemini 12. 3 years later, he set foot on the moon. Neil Armstrong is the next person I want to talk about. He was born August 5th, 1930 in Ohio. From 1949 to 1952, he was a U.S. Navy aviator in the Korean War. He was a pilot on the Gemini 8, and he was the first man to land a craft on the moon and to walk on the moon. The last person I'm going to talk about is Michael Collins. He was born on October 31st, 1930 in Rome, Italy. He was also a fighter jet pilot, but he became a test flight officer at the Air Force, logging 5,000 flying hours. He was a pilot on the Gemini 10 in 1966, and he also made a spacewalk. Next, I want to talk about why we went to the moon. A reason we went to the moon was because of our president, John F. Kennedy, said that we needed to donate more money to the space program. Another reason we went to the moon was because our current president at the time, John F. Kennedy, set a goal for us to land on the moon and come back safely by the end of the decade. Another reason we went to the moon was to further advance our knowledge of space. The next thing I want to talk about is what they did on the moon. At 10:51 p.m., July 20th, 1969, they first stepped on the moon. Aldrin came next, 19 minutes later. They both took photos and ran scientific tests on the terrain. While they were in space, they spoke to Richard Nixon in Houston. At 1:11 a.m. July 21st, they went back into the spacecraft and went to sleep on the moon. At 1:54 p.m., it began its ascent back to the command module. They successfully rejoined Collins at 5:35 p.m. Apollo 11 began its journey home at 12:56 a.m. July 22nd. They landed in the Pacific Ocean at 12:50 p.m. July 24th. The landing was a success. This is the end of my NHD project. I hope you enjoyed.